Was he though? Ooh, let's see what he said 1 minute ago. Oh, let's listen to this. Let's hope this volume's good enough for this.
I'm in the back parking lot. I've been sitting here the last 15 minutes. Now I'm over at Taco Bell using their Wi-Fi.
Go get him.
I tell you to open the doors towards the back parking lot.
Go get him.
Here we go. Hey everybody, welcome back to Everything and Tangents on Everything and Nothing. I'm Sam.
Jeremiah here, once again.
And again, behind the scenes running this program, the madman himself. Pay no attention to that guy over there. We're talking about John Simon. Say hello, John Simon.
Hello, John Simon.
Thank you very much for going along with that.
Yeah, but I got to steal it.
Fine.
Yeah, I'm sitting on this side of the couch today. I'm sorry. I'm just channeling the energy.
The energy. Channel it. Channel it.
Aw, speaking of channeling.
Channel 3.
Hey, again.
Channel 4.
Thank you. Yeah, back in the good old days of antenna TV, I get channels 2, 4, 6, 8, and 13 sometimes. Hey, but again, thank you for joining us on the podcast. Again, from the Owen County Public Library in the tech room. Looks like the 3D printer in the corner has been going strong again this week while they've been having those meetings and classes on that. But tonight we are very happy to bring you a pre-recorded episode, an interview that we have done with our good friend and local comedian Ben Terhune, who is now he's stationed out of Bloomington, isn't he not, John?
Correct, yes.
Awesome. So we'll be listening in on his conversation with John as they talk about everything and nothing.
We're good at that.
We're really great at that.
Yes.
Some would say that might be all we're good at. And they might not be wrong. So
Potentially.
yeah.
At least they're good at saying that.
Exactly. Yeah, it gives them a moment. Do we have any sponsors we'd like to thank this week or anything before we get into this? Or
Thank you to Sol Miguel once again for his contributions or her contributions.
whatever.
Their contributions.
Thank you, Sol Miguel, for your contributions once again to our great cause. And thank you once again to the Owen County Public Library for allowing us to run our show from here.
Let's mention a little bit. They've got some events coming up all the time.
Oh, we do. Yeah.
First and foremost, there is the weekly thing we need to do that has to do with the Owen County Public Library's Film Festival.
Coming up.
I need sound effects back here.
Do you think they'll care if we just bring in a couple of air horns and just blast them off real quick?
Oh, not at all. They have islands upstairs. They can have air horns
I
here.
have a baritone in my house.
All right. So on that, do we have a guest?
So, my guess that John is going to make for his project, that's a short film festival here at the Owen County Public Library.
You have till May 31st to sign up.
Yep.
It's a psychological drama, complete with mystery. You don't know what time you're in. There's some elements of the past, elements of the future, all bouncing back and forth as somebody slowly descends into insanity, and you find out that they were a dog the entire time.
You want to know how close you are?
Yeah.
Not at all.
You apparently were closer last year, or last week.
Last year.
Yeah.
I'll get it.
You'll get it.
I'll get it.
Yes, you'll get it. Anybody else sponsors coming up?
I don't.
I'd like to mention that the Spencer Exchange Club is doing a cookout at Bab's Supermarket next Friday.
Ooh.
Selling pork burgers there to support the Spencer Exchange Club. Something else they're doing, and I can't remember really what it's for, but cookout at Bab's next Friday.
Not this Friday.
Not this Friday.
Okay, next Friday.
April
so a week
8th.
into something. April 8th.
All right, so April 8th.
Yeah. Anything else coming on?
Not that I can think of at the moment. We do have the showing of Alice in Wonderland at the Community Theater. That will be held at the Tivoli, April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So come down and check that out if you're a big fan of classic theater.
Now
And
they owe us $20.
The joke is we won't get it. No.
You're right. We won't.
Somebody made one of the costumes
Yes.
that's in that performance.
I did make.
I don't know which Sam it was.
I know. There's only.
I mean, who it was.
Well, apparently there are two Sam Sturgeons in town. Had a little paperwork mix up at the BMV over that one year. So this Sam Sturgeon made a couple of costumes in the play.
Would Sam Sturgeon number 2 please stand up? We'd like to see who you are.
I think that is technically me because the
Would
other
the
one is
real
ancient.
Sam Sturgeon please stand up?
Please stand up.
Oh.
There's also another John Simon in this county, believe it or not. I've never met him.
Yeah, I'm
not.
not.
Only anytime I go down to the archery range is when I hear about him.
Yeah, no. Nobody else knew that there was another Sam Sturgeon until I had to go to the BMV, and that's not my address.
Yep.
That's not my what? Stop reading the social security number to me. This is not me.
Yeah.
We'd also like to thank Civilian for all their support and everything they've done. Go get some good beer at
And good
Civilians.
food.
And good food. Awesome place.
And I'm sorry if things were weird this week on night shift or days whenever you normally come in. Me and another manager swapped spots for a week, and everything was craziness. It was
Is
a
that
little.
anything like Wife Swap?
Nope,
Dance
not at all.
swap?
No, definitely not that.
Undercover boss?
Maybe.
Okay.
Undercover boss.
That one's a little.
Undercover boss is a bottom, you gotta admit it.
That's kind of a little
Okay.
close, yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there anything else we want to say before we go into the interview?
I think I've got everything I needed to go over done. So
John? Press
No. Well, I guess
Press
you could say
A
that.
button?
Press A button. That's better. Okay.
press the
And
next button.
Here we go. This is now me introducing Past Me. Say something.
I have always wanted a friend just like you.
And that's why you have me now.
There we go.
Okay. Sound isn't the worst. Sound isn't the best.
All right.
But it's not peaking, so we're good.
Projecting.
Project.
There we go.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Okay.
So future me will have probably introduced me by now. He probably allowed some of that stuff while this was fixing play too, because
Yeah.
I'm that sort of asshole.
Okay.
So,
You can tell them I like queens. I'm all about the queen life.
Queen,
Yeah.
as in
Drag queen.
Magnifico. Oh, drag queen. Okay.
Yes.
I was thinking Magnifico.
Some of the queens be slapping. They're fine as hell. I ain't
Are
gonna
they
lie.
champions?
More than champions. Like
Ride
they're
bicycles?
Olympian level.
They ride bicycles.
Yeah.
They're fat bottom girls.
When you can tape them up and you
Mhm.
can tape it in and you just look fly as hell in a sequin dress, you have my respect.
Which Queen song would fit that best?
We will rock you.
We will rock you.
Yes, that sums up my libido when I gaze upon the queens.
I can accept that. We will rock you.
There you go.
Yes. All right. Well, Future Me has introduced us. Hi, I'm John. This is Ben Terhune. And we're in the Owen County Public Library. Thank you, everybody, for allowing us to use this wonderful place. We will be taking advantage of this blue screen eventually, soon, maybe. And don't forget, this is the Tech Lab where you have video games that you can play on their 3-monitor computer systems. There's 2 of them. There's laptops to borrow. There's switches to borrow. That's Nintendo switches. There are light switches, too, but that's a different thing. There is also a 3D printer, which you can come in and learn to use and get stuff printed. It's slow. All 3D printers are slow. So expect that. And also one more thing, the Owen County Public Library's Film Festival is coming up soon. You have till May 31st to sign up for it and compete with me, a 2-time winner, 3-time placer, because I dominate. I dominate that whole
How many
thing.
people sign up though? Like, are you
The
like,
first time there was 3. Me, my son, and one guy, a 16-year-old. So I beat my son and another kid.
Okay. Yeah.
My son had a great video too. It
Yeah.
was
You
awesome.
took them down.
I took him down.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the next time there was 5 people total.
Okay.
I took first place again on that one.
All right.
And then we had the plague, so that didn't happen. And then
Okay.
they did it again on the third one. I took second place. Lex Barrett took first.
Okay.
Trying to remember who took third. Somebody else took third. Sam Sturgeon, I don't know if you met. You met Sam, he was here.
Yeah, Sturgeon.
He was in there. He had a really good one, but his audio and visual were not enough to push it over.
He does the special effects work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just made a
What do you make?
a Minotaur for a production in Bloomington,
That's sick.
and it looks really cool. I'll show it to you here in a moment when we're not like looking at our phones on.
That's a
on
whole
this.
thing. Okay.
Yeah, it's
That's
neat.
dope. All right.
He's been basically asked to make several other suits since then.
Yeah.
He started with the Cthulhu, not really, but
Right.
that's what got more people going, oh, you can do that?
Yeah.
So yeah, he's been making that, and he's been doing pretty good.
When I finally launch my P-Hub career,
Mhm.
I'm gonna hit up Sturgeon and I'm gonna have him make the backdrops for my P-Hub career.
Nice.
Yeah.
So some sort of Lovecraftian fetish in there?
Maybe like I get the washing machine.
Definitely
gets,
tentacles.
the washing machine she's gonna get stuck in. That's
Mhm.
prominent. And then like the pizza place background,
Mhm.
because no one ever finds out if she just got to eat her pizza in peace. She's always got to be bothered and touched
You just
on.
want some pie.
And I just like pie.
Yep.
And that's what's up.
Works for me.
Mhm.
Yeah. Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
see what else. Yeah, that's what's going on there.
Okay.
So, you've been on Facebook a lot in the old. Just call it Facebook old people book now from on because only old people use Facebook. Everybody else is moving to some other platform.
Well, let's see. There's a lot more of them coming up now. TikTok is taking off, and everybody keeps asking when I'm going to make a TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, like, I can't summarize my thoughts in just like 30-second reel. I've never been good at it, and so I have no fucking idea when I'm going to make a TikTok. To be honest with you, because I'm not that succinct. I've never been that succinct.
I'd have to actually sit through one of your shows again to see what could be clipped into smaller bits. But even your show tends to, each joke runs about 5-6 minutes.
Oh, absolutely.
The build up, the crescendo, the messy cleanup.
Yeah, all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do it like the conductor. I got to like do the whole thing.
Right.
And then
I've been playing around with shorts because you saw the one pull it out of your arm to unvaccinate yourself.
Yeah.
I've done 2 that were based on. One was inspired by I've got this old antique eye wash cup, and it's it actually had the box it came in too.
Okay.
And all I could think of was a very Lovecraftian idea of like you see something you need to unsee, use Eldritch Eye Bath, wash it out so you'll never have to see it again.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
My favorite was the one you did was like the bat flu, the vaccine chip that everybody thought they'd be getting there because of all the people in the world, the government wants to put a chip in you because you're that special.
That's right.
With your lower middle class job and the fact that you never go anywhere and watch a lot of Netflix. They need to know that. And so what it was I saw a fleshy, foamy arm type thing. It was like a Dollar General style arm. It was not very, very detailed. And then a piece of DDR2 RAM from like the world's best Pentium 2 computer popped out of it to remove the chip, see? Along with some fake special effects blood there, which looked a lot like some Kool-Aid or some corn syrup.
No, it was corn syrup, fake blood. But the problem was we actually had it set up to where we were going to have like a pint of that stuff come out. And so we had this hose coming down Sam's arm.
Yeah.
And as it was shifting around trying to cut it, it ended up going down and ran all the way down his arm, so you barely saw any of it.
Yeah.
It just covered enough of the chip to I had somebody who was like, man, I'm an EMT, and that's actually what those wounds look like. I was like, high five, Sam.
Good job.
Yeah.
Hyper realistic on a budget. That's nice.
And all it was like I said, couch cushion foam.
Yeah.
Painted a little fleshy, and that was it.
Right. No, I've even taken like a 3-month hiatus from YouTube too because YouTube it goes in cycles with the ultra right wing type of people out there, and they just they get overly opinionated and they get very dramatic during the wintertime because you can't go outside, you can't do a lot or something like that, and things like that. And it's like, do I want to argue on the internet or do I like want to actually enjoy my life and maybe like eat some nice food, talk to people in the real world, maybe not be depressed. Let's try that. Like seasonal affective disorder gets a person down, sure. But when you get on YouTube and you try to make like decent quality content in the wintertime when everybody's bored and they're like looking for reasons to bitch about everything, it makes that depression hit so much harder. So like I'm trying to avoid eating the cyanide, I'm trying to avoid just licking random chemicals and being like maybe that one will do me in.
Don't bite the tooth. I got it.
That's where we're at.
Yeah. So speaking of Dune, it was a nice reference. I don't know if you got it there.
I did.
Okay, good. Did you watch the review on the Dune movie?
I've watched the Dune movie itself, but I have not.
You need to watch our review. We'll do that later.
All right.
But okay, what else have you been up to? Because like I said, you've been active on Facebook.
Let's see. I was the operations manager of Indiana's largest food pantry at one time for 3.5 months.
Yeah, that's the one in Ellisville that has a line going all around the building into the road.
Yes, that is Pantry 279, located at Trinity Lutheran Church, which has 13 members. Big slapping church there. A lot of Jesus
13.
going on. Yeah, 13.
A lot of Jesus.
A lot of Jesus.
Yeah.
And
so I guess they're trying to be like the disciples. There's only 13 of them.
Yeah,
so which one's Jesus?
Well, the thing is, the membership themselves is like ridiculously affluent. Like they got fat wallets, and if you are a person who does not have a fat wallet, they're gonna be like, I know you're seeking Jesus, but like, bruh, there's a down payment on this.
It's a pay-to-play church.
Yeah. So you got to go ahead and do that. You got to put a down payment on your Jesus before you walk in the doors and get right with the Lord. That's how that works.
I take it you weren't able to make the payment.
No, that was a hefty balloon payment for sure. Yeah. Wasn't my thing. And then I was fired from the pantry because I had my hands in my pockets when it was 34 degrees outside. And it was piss pouring rain, and they felt that questioned my overall work ethic because I didn't feel like getting hypothermia that day. Yeah.
Tell them you were praying to Jesus in your pants.
I wasn't even doing like the shuffle in my pockets that alluded to the fact that like I was gratifying myself. I had just hit like this precipice in which I'd worked for like 3 months and like put in like 20 hours of overtime, unpaid, mind you, because this is an NPO, which means you're not getting perks, you're just getting shat on, and that's fine. Because if you agree to work for an NPO, like you should have this mentality going into it that you are officially a toilet. Yeah. Like that's all it is. Yeah. And so like I worked countless hours of overtime during Thanksgiving. I'm pretty sure like your boy had the bat flu, the Roni, and I still handed out like turkeys and everything else at the fairgrounds, and we had like record-breaking numbers of patrons come in who needed groceries because times are hard, obviously, and especially around Thanksgiving, even more so. A good Thanksgiving dinner on the table will cost you over $120 to feed a family of 4 or 5. Oh yeah. Yeah. So I did all that, and then I also became a commercial truck driver because they have like a 26-foot long box truck, and I had to learn the lay of the land in regards to trucking. I did not pick up a meth habit. I did not recruit.
Did you already have one?
No. Okay. I'm too fat for that. Like I thought about getting one, and then I realized like I've done enough wrong things in life that like I probably shouldn't.
You'd rather just enjoy food rather than.
Well, I want to enjoy like food and sleep, and I don't want to talk to like shadowy, figmenty people of my imagination and that type of thing.
Yeah, so that comes when you're older anyway.
Yeah, and I don't like want to dig a 6-foot hole to nowhere just in spurts all the time. I've seen that happen. And plus, there's a lot of adult coloring books, and I can't draw straight lines very well. That's the thing. Like, when you get really strung out on the meth, you got to have, like, an adult coloring book all the time. That's too bad. It's too extra. Okay. Yeah. So, I did the thing where I became, like, a truck driver commercially. That was cool, too. Wasn't licensed for it or anything. That was probably illegal as hell, for all I know, because you'd be driving on the highway and stuff in a commercial truck without a commercial truck driver's license. People are going to probably have questions, That never happened to me. I didn't get pulled over, but I'm glad I didn't, really. Yeah. Yeah, so that was the whole thing.
Yeah, so you don't have that for hire on your license?
No.
CDL?
No. I've heard you're supposed to have those, and like when I worked for this pantry, it was like just pretty much a suggestion.
Well, you do realize that in this country, if you can afford to pay those fines, it's illegal for you to do.
Yeah. See, the thing with the DOT though is when they pull you over, it's not like when the police pull you over and give you a seatbelt ticket for $25 to $50. The DOT wants like $2,000 to $2,500 per offense you commit on the road. They want that like gangster god money, that type of Rent-A-Center couch style money. I don't have that. No, that was one of those things. And then the absence of like time to myself was getting to be really overwhelming as well, because when you're only supposed to work 3 days at a food pantry and you end up working like 6 or 7 in a row for weeks at a time, then you don't have time to like eat food or like go to the bathroom. And they didn't have running water at the food pantry. You had a porta potty, which was cool because then you could go in and play am I gonna find a stray needle inside this porta potty or not? Because everybody loves to just go ahead and walk around and be like, random syringe, oh, it's a souvenir, you know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
Put it in your pocket, get hep C, go on with your note,
Oh, well, you've been vaccinated for HC, right?
No. I generally just had this idea that I wouldn't be around people who had hepatitis.
It's not a mandatory vaccination, but I've worked at places where they encouraged you to get it, so I've actually been through the process 3 times.
Oh, okay, yeah. And so
don't want it.
Yeah, that was the thing, and like they tell people all the time that like I quit that job, and it wasn't so much as quitting as this like 80-year-old woman yelled and screamed at me, which she's notorious for doing, along with like breaking stuff around her and throwing things and generally throwing a fit, which is overall toxic, narcissistic, like not healthy at all.
Does her name begin with a K?
It begins with a J, actually, a silent J. A wha.
Karen?
No, it's close though. It's close to the Karen. Yeah. But no, it's just one of those things, and it just got to the point where I was just kind of like, you know what, I think I'm going home. Because when I was recruited for that job, I didn't apply for it. It wasn't me being like, oh, I need the money right now. Let me fill out an application and beg for this job. It was they called me and were like, hey, do me this list of favors. And in return, what happened was I just got treated like shit on a daily basis. And then the drama itself is kind of a thing. Like, I'm not someone who does this back and forth, he said, she said style of drama. And I don't really like try to perpetuate a whole lot of like rumors and stuff like that. Like if you want to know something, I'll give you facts. But when I work around a lot of people who are into that overly dramatic lifestyle and they feed on it and they pretty much breed on it, I'm the guy who like records the conversations, takes pictures of things that are wrong in the workplace, and I cover my ass. And like, so the amount of like albums and the conversations I have and stuff like that I have just stored away for a rainy day in case I need it is very vast. Okay. Yeah, it's one of those things. It was just not a situation I'll ever put myself in again because the staff were treated poorly. I think out of 3.5 months, every person on staff had to go to the hospital for a work-related injury at least twice, except me. And that was it. And it was only because I took time occasionally out of my day to slow down and be like, hey, this is not the time for me to get a hernia. This is not a time for me to try to operate equipment I'm not trained on, and stuff like that. Like, we had some weird moments where, like, the woman who runs the place would, like, just say to a random volunteer, why don't you go operate that $15,000, 550-pound electric pallet jack? And then the volunteer would almost shoot it off the end of the box truck and, 6-foot fall, 550 pounds on the head of somebody, instant death. But were we worried about that? No, we were not worried about that.
Not at all. Why would you be? I mean,
no.
They're volunteers. They're
expendable.
Yes.
And that is why the average person only volunteers at that food pantry twice, I've learned. They have reasons, and it's just mostly self-preservation and common sense. So that's good.
And you somehow broke the mold.
Yeah, a little bit there.
Yeah.
A little bit there.
So the other thing, I saw you did a charity fundraiser at
I've done
Grill.
2 of them, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Tell us a little about those. But before you do.
But before I do.
This was taken over by the Hoosier Grill.
Okay.
I'll pop that meme up so people can see it.
Wow.
It's basically, you'll see it. It's right now.
Well, that's a very...
Future John put it in there.
That's a very symbiotic process, what with China Star and the Humane Association. I can see that.
Yeah.
One can
the
definitely
Humane
go about the other.
Society isn't there anymore.
Yeah, like, we control the cat population pretty well.
Right.
The meat on a stick is rather tasty. I
Oh,
gotta
absolutely.
say.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have any moral scruples. In the event they tell me that I'm eating a house pet at China Star one day, I'm going to be like, that's fine. Still worth every bit of the $11 I'm paying to get up in there.
That's the downside. I remember it was 9.
Yeah.
But it's still good food. You go in there, get as much as you want. It's usually me. It's like a plate and a half, and then I'm done.
I usually do about 2 when I'm done.
Yeah,
I can't take much more.
And I like their cat on a stick.
Yeah, cat on a stick is nice.
And then there's another one that have like those little things of shrimp in it with other stuff. I scoop out the shrimp and.
I always go for that General Tso's because it's like a
That
hard
one's
thing
good
to
too.
screw up.
Yeah.
Because it's mostly just like a little dab of chicken with a huge outer coating on it,
Yeah.
and then like a lot of sauce.
And then they're bourbon chicken. They can't screw that up.
Bourbon chicken's nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm,
Okay.
solid.
Yep.
But no, I've done quite a couple shows at the Hoosier Bar and Grill. Had quite a good time doing it. Like, I don't know, that's a really welcoming atmosphere for the type of comedian I am, because I'm not like a politically correct comic. I'm going to say pretty much what everybody else in the room is thinking. I'm probably going to get a laugh and applause break off of it. I'm going to go on with a bunch of other jokes, which are usually about my life or just how fucked up like my everyday observations are when I'm just doing anything. And they embraced me 100%. And didn't really care so much as what I said when I had a microphone in my hand, and like the staff had a good time at my shows. And every time I've been there so far, like I've sold the room out, which it only holds like 100 people. But when you're in the middle of Ellisville, Indiana, and 100 people are willing to come out and see you tell jokes, like that is one of the most.
A lot, yeah.
That's one of the most humbling feelings ever. Like that makes you feel special. In like this really like, gay hug my teddy bear kind of way.
Isn't this also these were fundraisers?
Oh, absolutely.
What were the fundraisers for?
Well, the first one I did for Pantry 279, and we did over $1,000, and that was for the kids' Christmas program, which went really well. And shout out to everybody who participated and volunteered in that. I got to say that the work was definitely more towards done by the volunteers than most of the staff. A lot of the staff just kind of sat there and was like, I'm going to talk on the phone a lot, pretend working. And a lot of the volunteers were like, damn, this is hard work and this sucks. And I was like, right there with you. I feel you. I get it.
Yeah.
The volunteers are what made that whole program worthwhile, though. And the show I did there, we raised over $1,000. And it's just, I don't know, that was a whole new way of doing comedy for me, too. Because it's like you get heckled when you're on stage as a comedian all the time, right? But now these people who are heckling you are giving you $100 bills. And you're like, do I retort like when they're heckling me and be like, hey, you're a piece of shit and only have 3 teeth in your mouth and get a laugh from it? Or do I let you hand me $100 and just say something dumb and go about my show?
Well, I figured since they're heckling you and you're already making fun of them, that's what they want.
Well,
it's not their fetish or something.
Some of them you can always kind of tell what the overall vibe in the room, like when you do stand up comedy and everything. And if you're not good at reading a room, you shouldn't be doing stand up comedy in the first place. But you'll encounter people who like actually would just want to be part of the show, and they don't realize the thing that they've said to you while you're holding that microphone, and you have that amplified voice. Like they don't realize the thing they've said to you is just stupid as hell. They have no idea. They think they're actually like part of the show and they're contributing and that they're actually somewhat funny on their own accord.
You mean I'm not funny?
And they're just no. No, it's one of those things. And so it's weird because now you're doing this with a microphone in your hand, and these same people are there and they want to be part of the show, they want to be part of the process, and they think the things they're saying are just fucking gold. They think what they're saying is amazing, but it's not. And at the same time, they're handing you money towards this cause you're trying to, help people out with.
I don't know. Three drinks in, I probably think I'm pretty funny.
Everybody thinks they're funny at least 3 drinks in. That's I even introverted people who never go out in public. You give them 3 or 4 beers.
That's the doorway to extrovert.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a social lubricant.
Yeah.
Most lubricants I use aren't really that social, but that one totally is.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did the first one for Pantry 279, and that was a huge success. And overall, the staff at the Hoosier Bar and Grill, they were into the show. They were really accommodating. And I always try to push their presence when I'm there and be like, hey, tip the staff. The drinks are pretty good and stuff. And, like, the Hoosier Bar and Grill is what it is. It's a bar and grill, but the food's not bad. And, like, the hospitality is overall 100% just out of this world, the way they treat you.
Nice.
They're really nice there. And then the overall aesthetic of the room, like, it's a big room. There's pool tables. There's enough room for everybody to have their own space, even if you're still concerned about, like, catching the bats and the bugs and the cow and the moo or whatever we got going on with all the variants. And so there's still enough room for people to have elbow room and to feel safe about it. So it's nice, yeah.
Nice.
And the second one I did, a friend of mine, her niece ended up, the niece is only like 9 months old. She's still infancy. And she ended up contracting this rare disease called Gaucher's disease. It's like a congenital type of thing.
Okay.
Or Gaucher's disease, depending on how you want to pronounce it. And what it is essentially is this full systemic disease that affects like infants. And when it hits, it impairs growth, causes brittle bones, affects the respiratory system really badly to the point that like their lungs just suddenly give out and they can no longer breathe at just random intervals. And yeah, they die from it. And they're never supposed to make it past like the first 3 months of life. But my friend's niece, her name is Rosella. She's made it to 9 months old now, which with this disease is actually kind of miraculous in and of itself. And now she's on like a nasal cannula and oxygen full time up at Riley Hospital. And they're looking for alternative ways to try to treat her, involving everything from like steroid and immune boosting therapies and other types of things. And the second fundraiser we did there raised a little over like $800 for that. And I still get donations coming in every few days.
Nice.
Just from people seeing that.
Yeah.
And this is what's a milestone, which is really crazy. It's the first time in my life that I've actually recorded myself on stage, like my show, and then sold it as like a pay-per-view process. And people actually fucking bought it.
Nice.
I've never felt so much shock and awe and gratitude in my entire life that someone was sitting at their computer, right? And then they see my awkward ass with my fucking goofy sunken in eyes and crooked ass nose and bad teeth. And they're like, I bet you that guy's funny and I'm willing to pay $3.99 to see it for an hour while I'm sitting on my computer. Like, bruh, 80% of the internet is porn. You can see boobies instead of
right.
You can see
you can see that for free.
Yeah, but you could go. I can't. But you could go like
not on the right website. And you say you go to Reddit.
But I could go. But like I was just saying, you go like Netflix, Hulu, your Disney Stream, all of it. You can see anything else but me. But people actually like chose to sit there and be like, I'm gonna do this for a good cause because I think this guy's kind of
swipe the credit card.
And swipe the credit card. Yeah. It's one of the. It just blows my mind.
Well, let's hope that momentum can keep going. Because
I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm definitely trying. Like I have a few more shows. We're in talks to do one up at Butler Winery for Rosella still, because like the way it looks is like we don't know when it comes to this little girl's health day in and day out if we're going to be paying for like medical expenses or if we're going to be paying for a funeral. Because this disease is like so rare, like 1 in 1,000 kids or whatever. There's not a lot of specialists towards it. That her health could go one way or the other in the next 20 minutes. You never know. And her parents have to go up to Indianapolis pretty much to sit with the little baby full time too. And they're young parents, so like it's not like they had a lot of opportunity to begin with. And they're not like they haven't really established themselves in like the employment world and everything else because they're young. When you're young, shit sucks.
Right.
It's hard to find your place.
It's also when you're old, it can suck too. But that's a different story.
That happens. But like, so then all of a sudden you have an infant baby girl and she's sick and all your time is up at Riley Hospital. You have a job that's like, a get by kind of job. And so like we definitely try to go ahead and make sure some of the money ends up with their parents too, just so they can afford gas and groceries to actually go stay with their kid. Yeah. Because imagine the burden you place on yourself where you're just kind of like, if my kid could die at any moment. But I'm not. I wouldn't be there to hold her hand because I'm out here working for gas money to go see her. That's so fucked up. Yeah. That's really weird.
And nobody's prepared for that.
No.
And you're expecting your insurance, I'm sure, is just going to drop them completely.
Absolutely. That's what I'm thinking. The insurance itself, like
You suck insurance.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Insurance is a racket in this country. It really
Oh,
is. We are the
yeah.
only country, I mean, first world-wise, that
Mhm.
still has an insurance landscape.
Yeah.
Every other country has already done this, like, government-funded.
And it's pretty much set up to, if you're in somebody like my position, your position, that's bankruptcy.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So don't break your leg. Don't go to the hospital. Hell, don't even go see a regular doctor unless you got a shit ton of money.
Exactly. What I have learned is that basically, if I choose not to pay my medical bills, it
Mhm.
will affect my credit report.
Mhm.
However, if I wait anywhere from 3 months to a year after they've sent me these medical bills, if I ever go to the hospital or whatnot,
Mhm.
I can call and settle the money for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
Now my problem is it affects my credit report, and I can't buy my Lambo or my mansion. But those are things I'll never be able to afford anyway. So like
Hot Wheels makes a Lambo.
okay, well I've
Yeah.
got that going.
I've got
for
about
me.
3 or 4 of those.
Well, I mean, okay.
In package too.
In package?
Yeah.
It's probably worth a little more than that.
Not really, like $2-3.
That's it?
It really depends. It's hard to find one that's really worthwhile. Even some of the special rares are
Yeah.
still like maybe $25-30.
The collectible market.
Now, talking about that, I know I'm a total tangent here because that's the show.
Podcast.
Yeah. Where is it? There is a 1968 VW bus where the surfboards go in on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah. No matter what condition that is, it's like $2,000.
Ah.
Paint's ripped up, it's dented, whatever. It's worth some money because it's that rare.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's one of the first motorcycles they made was for the movie Megaforce.
Yeah.
A really cheesy movie back in the early 80s.
Okay.
If you can find that in its package, it's like a $800 car or thing.
I'm all about that toy collecting life,
Yeah.
as a matter of fact. I just moved recently, and I realized that like I rented this 10 foot long box truck from U-Haul,
Mhm.
and like a big boy, okay, because now I can afford to rent somebody else's vehicle when I move, and then I'll still have to put my shit in it because that shows like how sophisticated I am, and I'm on that come up, okay. So I rented that, and I realized that most of the box truck consisted of my toy collection, whether it be my BDSM toys or it be my actual collectible vintage toys, such as my He-Man action figures and my Spider-Man and whatnot.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of that was just my toys.
Toys.
So I mean, it's not that I could say that like I have my toys, and that doesn't make me feel alone in life. But the walls may be closing in one day. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not a matter of
Well,
if,
when
it's
Andy,
a matter of when.
when you hear, you've got a snake in your boot, you got to be wondering.
That's what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
No, I've had a really eventful month. Like this last month, I've moved into an apartment for the first time ever in my life. I was usually a trailer park dwelling type of person, and I kind of enjoyed that. Like I like when my neighbors are alcoholics and meth heads, especially the older like female alcoholics, because you can walk out of your house and you'll go to get in your car and get ready to go to work, and then like your alcoholic elderly neighbor lady will just walk up to you and be like, "I had a job once, which means I have sturdy kneecaps." And she'll be slurring her words. She'll smell a little bit like some Jim Beam. But you know what? You appreciate a woman who sees you as attractive that way.
She comes up and like, "Hey, baby."
Yeah.
Okay.
When she smokes 3 packs a day and sounds kind of like a confused robot, like you give in, okay? You acquiesce because you're a good man and you want to make people happy. So I'm no longer a trailer park man now. I'm an apartment man, okay?
What level apartment like?
I got me a 1.5 bedroom, okay? Now I have me a bedroom, and it's a decent size. I can fit my recording studio in there. I can fit me a queen size bed, and I have me a little entertainment area where I have an arcade machine, an authentic one. Yes.
Nice.
Now I didn't purchase this, okay? Now this nice lady, she's like my family friend now, okay? And we met on the Facebook, and we also met through her son, which was a very good friend of mine who passed away. I miss you, Ricky. And what happened was, his mom occasionally checks on me, and she says, "Ben, I'm going to get you something cool for Christmas." And then she got me this arcade thing, okay?
Nice. What game?
3,000 games.
Oh, nice.
Okay, see, now it's the Pandora 3DX setup, which means, like, I have a list of 3,000 games, and maybe 30 of them are legit and not bootlegged. But at the same rate, I now have a little arcade machine beside my bed, which means that when I give up on life, and I finally embrace the fact that I am a huge piece of shit and I no longer want to contribute anything to society, I can play video games in my bed.
3,000 games is going to be a long time. I mean, make sure you got plenty to drink.
I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah. That's tempting.
So I say 1.5 bedrooms because I have a loft. That when I walk in, I have this small little living room area that's like 90 square feet, which I've turned into a personal gym, which is why my tits are on point right now.
Nice.
And so then above my personal gym, I have a random loft that fits a twin-size bed for absolutely no reason. And according to my landlord, one of the IU basketball players, who's like 6'6", used to sleep up in this motherfucker in a twin-size bed. So I'm wondering, like,
twin size had to be twin size long, right? California length.
I'm thinking his feet stuck off, hung off of it at least a foot.
Yeah, for those of you who are actually watching the video, let me show you something here. Yeah, he's actually so shorter than he looks. I was trying to be nice.
So now I walk in and I've like got my home gym and I'm like, oh yeah, I slapped because I got a Mario Lopez weight bench, which was AC Slater on Saved by the Bell, right?
You're right.
So now whenever I lay on this to like work out and do my curls and stuff, like my man bits, like all this hotness is like laying on AC Slater's face. Okay? And then I have my loft above me, which is very small, and I know that a grown-ass man used to hang halfway off of it in an attempt to try to sleep.
We can get Sam to make some feet with some basketball shoes to hang off of that.
That would be dope, actually. I would show my landlord. It'd be hilarious. And the best part is my apartment is on a farm. Okay, so when I go out and I go to the parking lot where we all park our cars, because I only have a couple neighbors. But nonetheless, there's a field out there, and in this field is a cow and a horse, okay? Now, they hump each other sometimes.
Right, which is what they do.
Just to show assert dominance that doesn't exist. Because they're both very old, but they're very kind, and they'll eat like baby carrots out of your hand and everything. And I've nicknamed the cow Pot Roast, and I've nicknamed the horse Super Glue.
Super Glue works.
Yeah, so now I'm out there with my arcade machine, right? And all my action figures, because, you know, you're not like a pimp unless you have action figures. And then I'm out there with my cow and my horse. So we're living.
You know, you could another name for the horse, or not the horse, the cow. You could call it like asphalt, street, way. You give it something like that. You know why, right?
Why?
Well, the bones.
No.
Yeah, they actually.
I thought that was a rumor.
No.
I knew what you were alluding to.
They turn into bone black, which is kind of where the asphalt and stuff gets its color
I'm gonna feel so fucked up on the drive home now. I'm gonna be sitting there just staring at the road, being like,
just wait for it to
damn.
go moo.
That's what it is. And there's also a donkey who's in like the back 40 of this property where these apartments are on, and this donkey just like fucking gets livid at random times. At 3 a.m., 2 a.m., this donkey's just out here with the hee-haw or whatever the sound. And it's like the sound you hear in movies. It's not like the clip sound effect just for the movie. It's like it's a really guttural type of emanation.
I can kind of tell you why he's doing that.
What do you think? So you think he's horny?
No.
You hungry?
No.
What's he doing?
Well, one, he might be alone.
Okay.
Two, donkeys tend to be territorial. So when like a coyote or a raccoon or something else comes in, they tell it to fuck off or they'll kill it.
Oh.
Yeah. So
you think the
donkeys for a short period of time will actually make great herd protectors.
So like a donkey is more sentient than I've given it credit for.
Donkeys are smart as shit.
Okay,
they're intelligent.
Okay, so maybe it's this donkey's way
they're
of just
so smart that after a while, it's like, I've been watching these sheep for 3 years. I wonder what that coyote's really going to do, and they'll sit back and watch.
Right.
So they actually get bored of, unlike cattle dogs and all, they'll get bored of what they're guarding and stop protecting.
I never knew this.
Yeah.
Between the cows being part of the asphalt, now the donkey being like actually having a high IQ and an asshole at the same time. I kind of have a new respect for donkeys right now.
Yeah.
Like, because he's smart and he's a dick, but like he knows he's a dick now. That's nice. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to have to give more respect to this donkey.
I've owned donkeys before. They're actually great animals to have.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to give him a cool nickname now. Because Pot Roast and Super Glue I don't want him to get jealous, you know? I think he'd be jealous of the attention I've shown Pot Roast and Super Glue. Dennis.
Yeah.
Dennis the donkey.
Yeah.
I'm with it. I like it.
He can sing the asshole song.
I like that.
Yeah.
Works
for me. Dennis the donkey.
Oh God. Yeah. This is what happened when we asked what shows I had coming up just now. Okay, yeah, that's where we're at. Yeah. So yeah, I've got Butler Winery coming up. That's a good time.
Nice. That's the one on College, right?
I think it's the north side of town. A friend of mine's putting that one together, and I got like recommended for it, which is usually how my shows have been working lately. It's not that I'm out here pounding the pavement or anything. All of a sudden, someone will do something, and they'll be like, "We need a comic who can actually make people laugh." And then my name gets thrown in the mix. And then my name gets thrown in the mix, and then before I know it, I'm like a flyer in a Jiffy Treat window famous. And like, I just got to say, like, I've never felt more alive than when I'm on a flyer in the window of a Jiffy Treat, and someone tells me.
Next time you have that flyer with your picture, as seen on.
As seen on.
Yeah.
As seen on the Jiffy Treat window. Yeah. As seen on the back door of Bandanas in Bedford.
Exactly.
Where everybody goes to get their second or third DUI.
Absolutely. As seen on, written on the wall of the bishop's bathroom. Yeah,
there we go. Yeah.
Could be done.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
When I did one of my charity shows, I also worked with a local guy. He lives in Linton. so it's like kind of local. His name is Bubba Wiggles. Okay.
Okay.
Now I don't know if you've ever heard of like the deity known as motherfucking Bubba Wiggles,
Not at all.
but like he's like Jack Black, but he slaps just a little bit harder.
Okay.
Okay.
That's the guy. Were you with him at a Hoosier Grill, or was that somebody else? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I have heard of him. He wasn't memorable because
I mean,
association.
He's a large man.
Mhm.
He's bearded. Okay. He might be bald. He might not be. He wears a hanky thing
Well, I know I'm bald, so it's not
around
me.
his head, so we don't worry about
Yeah.
that. But his voice, see, it just sounds like angels eating donuts. Okay.
Muffled.
A little bit, yeah, because there's a lot of flesh he has to.
Powder, yeast, cake. What type of donuts? I want to know.
At least cream filled. At least the cream filled.
filled. Okay.
Yeah, because there's a little gurgle to some of his deeper notes. Like
Definitely
he's got
cream
that,
filled, Bill. Yeah.
yeah, he's got that gravelly voice to him. Okay, and he does original songs about like his state of mind. And
So while he's sucking down Long Johns, he's sounding like an angel.
I think Bubba is more like a eat raw meat type of guy.
Mhm.
Like I think he's the type to go deer hunting and not take.
Well,
a
when I
gun.
mean Long John, I mean like the donut.
Oh, that's a donut.
Yeah, that's the long ones with the cream filling on the inside.
They actually have. I thought those were just like long bear claws.
Oh, there's different types. The bear claws are supposed to look like bear claws. Supposed to.
That's
Now,
never
Long
the
John
fucking
is
claw.
basically the oval one that has cream filling. Then you have the Bavarian, which has the Bavarian cream in it instead of whipped cream.
The Bavarian cream always looked like man spunk to me. I never messed
Yeah.
with the Bavarian thing. I didn't get down like that. Not that like I wouldn't, because it is 2022 and you can get down however you want to. But the Bavarian just didn't seal the deal for me, you know.
It tastes better than the whipped cream because whipped cream half the time is just fluff. It doesn't have any flavor to it.
If you put
Because they don't put stuff in it, people.
okay, so what, like there's okay, so Square Donuts has this donut
Mhm.
that I had a while back, and it's got a maple glaze, and they put bacon on it. Okay,
Yeah, mhm.
now
I had one.
that slapped.
Mhm.
That right there, like I'd be fine of dying of diabetes if I just ate that thing. And I'm
Mhm.
not like a donut fan. I maybe eat donuts like once or twice a year, if that.
Mhm.
But like Bubba Wiggles, when he sings "Donuts and Angels," just come out right there.
Angels eating donuts.
Yeah, I offered to
Sounds
take him
delicious,
deer
yeah.
hunting one time,
Mhm.
and he didn't bring a gun, and I was like, "Where's your gun or your bow?" And then he tackled the deer and he ate it raw. So
Okay.
that's where we're at with that. So if you have time, anybody out there listening, check out on your social media platforms Bubba Wiggles. Okay, BUBBA. Just start with the Bubba and then go from there, and you'll find a few of his original songs and a few of his covers. He even covers Britney Spears, which is wonderful. Hit Me Baby One More Time. Okay, I've never sang
I wanna hear that
along
one.
with
Yeah.
a large 300-pound bearded man to Britney Spears until I met Bubba Wiggles, and I'm glad I did. It was a life-changing experience.
I think that's what it would need because I don't sing to Britney Spears. Never really cared for her music, honestly. But
She's free now, you know.
yeah, I heard that.
She's
a
no
free woman.
conservatorship or anything.
Yeah.
Her boobies, Instagram everywhere.
Oh, there we go then.
See, so Britney is out here doing
Yeah.
big things now.
Good.
You,
Hey, success comes in different ways, and she finally needs her freedom, right?
there was a time period in my life, like when
Mhm.
junior high Ben would come home and
Mhm.
watch the TRL countdown, the top 10 or whatever on the MTV, where Carson Daly was, because he slapped back then, you know. And then Britney Spears would come on, and she'd be dancing in a high school at random,
Mhm.
and then she'd have a little thingy with a tie on it, and then
Yeah.
she'd have a little plaid skirt, and I lasted 15 seconds, okay?
Mhm.
And my mom had to go buy lotion at least 3 or 4 times a month because I was active. I was really active.
How were the socks?
They were not usable when I was done.
Okay.
Like I couldn't, not even with a team of people or one of those shoehorn things.
Just knock on wood, sort of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Mhm.
pretty much. Hmm.
Yeah, I worked with a guy who's kind of that same way, but he was probably as old as I am now
Yeah.
at this time. So we're talking like 2003.
Okay.
And when we were working, it was his birthday. Somebody brought him up or bought him a Britney Spears stand-up.
Oh,
I'm scared to see what happened to that thing.
I had
He was a. Yeah.
I had a life-size poster of the Spice Girls.
Mhm.
Okay, and it filled up one of my entire closet doors because I lived in a trailer, and the doors themselves were like entirely one wall in this little room in the trailer, but the entire closet door was the Spice Girls.
Mhm.
So it was a sliding door, so I had the option to hide it from my other guy friends, so as
Mhm.
not to appear like with a case of the gay or anything. But at the same time, what I spent doing with that a Spice Girls thing was not associated with man-on-man love. It was more of a hetero thing because I defiled that poster on many occasions. But if I had one of Justin Timberlake or like NSYNC from back in the day, I'd have probably defiled that one too. Because like Justin Timberlake, I can see what Jessica Biel sees in him because he's kind of a hottie. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, he slaps.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So you basically you're waiting for that dick in a box.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Got it. Got
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So younger me, like that was all the experiences I went through with my large life-size posters, and that forged helped forge me into the man I am today.
Do you think that maybe you were hopefully his inspiration for Jizzed in My Pants?
I hope so.
That would be nice.
Absolutely.
That would be something.
I could see that.
We all have goals. You know.
I mean, he is a triple threat, like the actor and the singer, you know? And that other thing you're supposed to do when you're was that
right.
dancer or something?
Oh, yeah.
You're supposed to act, sing, and dance?
Yeah, and he does all three.
Oh, he does all three.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Probably in a three-way.
I can see that.
Because it's not gay if it's in a three-way.
No.
Yeah.
That's fine.
How many more references can we make towards his parodies?
As many as we possibly can.
Probably, yeah.
Baby, bye to that, huh?
Right?
I've seen
Mm-hmm.
it. Okay. Oh.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I've been doing all these things. And what else do I have coming up? Let's see. The Redneck Rave. I might be doing a little bit on that one. Now, I never pay for the Redneck Rave. Like, I don't actually, like, buy an introductory stage seat.
Is it really a rave? Do these rednecks have to go somewhere, get the thing, pay their $10 for the flyer that tells them to go somewhere else, to get that other flyer when they go somewhere else?
So eventually, it's basically there's a Ticketmaster or Eventbrite link online, and then you just buy the tickets, and then basically you go 30 miles out in the middle of nowhere, so you can't like really be fucked with by law enforcement or any town commissions. And then
you can't do that in Indiana. There's no place in Indiana that's 30 miles in the middle of nowhere.
when I went last time, it was all the way down in Kentucky.
Okay,
at this
that
like
maybe.
Blue Holler off-road cave park area, which was 30 miles from a Walmart. And so yeah, but like it's all your cousins and jacked up pickup trucks. But the thing is, they're also slosh and they're also like more baked than senator, like higher than senator socks. That they're cool to be around. Like it's not sitting there and everybody's not having like their political views or whatever. You're basically just getting inebriated and riding machines that go really fast and trying not to lose an eye or break a leg.
Yes. See, where I grew up, you could literally get in the middle of nowhere. You'd be so far out, you could see the cops coming and knew you had a half hour before you had to start moving.
Yeah, see, that's pretty much where they put the raves. Those like way out of the way locations and stuff.
But it was one of those you had to hit like 4 or 5 places to get the instructions to get there.
You know,
stupid, but it was fun. I mean, that was half the night.
I remember
2 o'clock in the morning. We're finally there. Yeah,
I used to go to weird warehouse parties where I had to go to like 3 different places or find a flyer in a liquor store shelf or something.
Yeah.
And then like I would supposedly take something called ecstasy, and I say that in this phrasing because it was never ecstasy. Like it was usually just probably Cheetos put in a pill press with a cool design on it. And then
I would take those.
Yeah, and then I paid $25 to smash one, and I pretended to sweat and drink a bunch of water, and was like lights the whole night because I was an impressionable child and wanted to feel accepted. So you know, that's probably what happened then.
So you're saying you live the movie Go?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. So like no, but the rave it's like all inclusive, and generally everybody there like rednecks and everything, but they're pretty funny when they're lit, and like they're not really so much as like what the stereotype would portray. Nobody's out there like swinging a Trump flag in your face and screaming at you the whole time and shit. I wouldn't go if they were. I can't take all that pressure these days. And you know, I think we all should just be people. That's where I think of that.
Rather
Human
than a
race.
cult.
Yeah.
I agree.
So like, you know, even if you drive a jacked up truck or you want to wear a flannel or something, I'll sit in the bed of your truck. We'll drink the beer. We'll hug it out. Like, you know, I just want to have a good time. The last couple of years, we've all been through way too many negative times. Yeah. You know?
Speaking of beers, it's a flashback to a Civilian Brewery. Last week, they had their 3rd anniversary.
Yeah.
And I missed out on their habanero beer.
They had habanero beer?
Mm-hmm. They made a pony keg of it, and it was supposed to be one of those. It was habanero, lime, and ginger.
Yeah.
And depending, you know, you'd have one drink. It's like, habanero. Not like burning or anything, but the flavor and all that.
Yeah.
The next one's like, there's a little bit of lime.
Oh.
Yeah. And then the next drink was, there's the ginger, and it would just cycle through.
Didn't they?
I missed that, damn it.
What was it? The Chocolate Mousse had a cicada week one time, or like a cicada fest when we had the plague of cicadas.
And last summer, right?
Yeah, last summer. And I'm thinking like someone around here made a cicada beer, and I'm not sure if it was civilian or not.
No, it wasn't civilian.
Man, someone made one, and I still never got to try that either.
Yeah.
I would drink a cicada bear.
I would try it, absolutely. Yeah.
And a habanero beer. Oh my god. Yeah. I wish I would have known about that. I'd have gone down there.
I was working when it happened.
That's like most of the things that happen in life. You're usually just doing something else and never get to enjoy it.
But on that note, they have 3 years around. They've been around. They've been doing great. You like stouts? They got a really good stout right now.
My beer preference is as close to urine as possible. So if it's like light colored and pretty much watery,
they have
I'm drinking it.
too.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Because like you can hand me a Guinness and then like I immediately like my gag reflex kicks off and I cringe like
you
full
get
body.
the bitter beer face.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And then everybody's. I don't know. I've gone to breweries with like people who were more affluent than me and who had fancy big jobs and all that.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Let me buy you this like $20 beer that you're really gonna enjoy." And then they hand me this like brackish looking cup of like foamy water or something.
people call me a beer snob. I'm not a beer snob.
Yeah.
I know what I like.
Yeah.
And I will tell you what it's like.
I've gone to highbrow breweries and then been like, I don't like this. Can I have a Bud Light? And like I've offended bar staff doing
Because
that.
Bud Light is crap.
Yes.
It is crap.
See, like,
It is your bottom line. Hey, it's going to taste the same every time, and that's crap.
yeah, but it does what I want it to do to me, and like at the same time, I know what it's going to taste like.
That's
and
just
it's
it. Bud doesn't do what I want it to do. It's just like oh, I might as well just do what the dog does, drink straight out of the bowl.
Yeah. I mean, look, if the dog's water had alcohol in it, I'd probably get down on all fours and we just go to town.
And that's another reason why I like the stouts. There tends to be a little bit more alcohol in it.
Okay.
Tends to be.
Tends
But
to
I'm looking for a flavor.
Right.
And that flavor is not the yellow water trying to
It'd
be like
me, Dennis, the donkey, and the dog, and we'd just be going to town on the boat.
Yeah. And on the other end of that, hops is still like a really big thing. Put hops in everything.
Yeah.
I can't stand hops. I don't like hops.
Now
I can stand it. Let me rephrase that. I just don't want it in everything.
The dude who runs Hoppy Wobbles, his name's Sean, down there on West 3rd,
Yep.
Big Lots, Bloomington, little plaza there. He gets all these like really hopped up beers too, and all these weird ones. Like they have Reaper in it, or Fairy Dust, or like talk about Zombie Jizz, or something or other.
Yeah,
and they're always
Zombie
like
Dust. It's an actual one out there.
So yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
They got the weirdest names to him, and like he's like the beer connoisseur, and I've tried so many odd beers.
You want a beer connoisseur and odd beers? Go to the Sinkhole.
Where's the Sinkhole?
It's southern Bloomington. You remember where Restore used to be?
Yeah.
That where it used to be, it's across the street, that little strip mall there.
Oh.
And the guy will not carry. It's one of those. You're an independent brewer.
Yeah.
You have a big distributor distributing your stuff. I'm not going to touch you.
I see.
He does true independent beers,
It's
and
like
he gets
underdog beer sales.
He had a whole series come in called Serial Killers. So there was like Captain Crunch, Fruit Loops, Tricks.
Okay. Nice.
He had a pecan porter from somebody I can't even remember who it was.
I'm gonna check that out too.
Yeah.
Then.
He's and his stuff is always going through. He's got some great stuff there. Sinkhole.
Yeah, because I'll always try a weird beer just for the simple fact of this story fodder.
Yeah.
Not so much for the fact that like I'm gonna enjoy it, because I'm probably not. If it's not like PP, then I'm not gonna enjoy it. But like for the stories alone, yeah.
Well, that's just it. See, I'm not into water sports, which is why I like to have something to my beers, not just.
Oh no, I have no say for it. I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
We're good. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Mine's like just turn the waterworks off. I want something else.
I mean, I don't pick and choose. Like I look how I look. I'm not rich or nothing.
You
I'm not
do pick
fancy.
and choose because you said you'd rather have a Bud than that weird thing that has stuff still floating.
Well, look. Here's the thing, though. Like, if you gave me a bunch of them and said they were free, and I would drink to the point of inebriation for that fact. Like, I would still probably convulse a little bit until I got to the fourth beer when everything went numb or whatever.
Everything tastes the same.
Yeah. So like that would be fine. But at the same time, like I'll probably go with the Bud Light as a standby.
Now, when it comes to stuff like that, though, I really prefer mead, and very few people make mead, and the few people who do are now throwing hops in it and makes it taste terrible.
Isn't that just honey wine?
No, honey wine is different. Honey wine is wine where you add honey.
Okay.
Mead is where you take honey and you ferment it.
Okay.
It's a lot
fermented
sweeter.
honey and then wine with honey as an additive. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Mead.
So if you get like the stuff from Oliver, yes, Oliver and Butler, those are honey wines. Those aren't true meads.
Okay. So a true mead is fermenting honey.
Mm-hmm.
And like.
This is my recipe for honey. I'm going to put it out there for anybody who's interested.
Now I'm curious.
It's 2 parts honey.
Yeah.
2 parts water that you actually like the taste of. That's important. It has to be good, clean water.
Do you add yeast?
Well, you got to finish my recipe first.
Okay.
Of course, it's going to be yeast.
All
How
right.
else are you going to ferment it? Then outside of those two, you basically boil them together. You take a 1/4 teaspoon of Irish moss for the last 15 minutes of boil. That basically acts as a stabilizer. It takes all the solids and make it all fall to the bottom once it's finished fermenting.
Uh-huh.
You boil that for like 15 minutes. Let it cool. Once it's room temperature, you add your yeast, which is a champagne yeast in my recipe because this is a real aggressive sugar. So normal yeast comes up to it and says, I can't eat it, and dies.
Do you ever put like a turbo yeast in it or just champagne?
Champagne yeast.
Okay, champagne.
And let it sit for about 4 months. Once it clears, drink away.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Huh. Now, I'm going to try to make this sometime. Now, see, like, basic just white lightning or whatever, you can do that with just some basic, like, corn flour, and it doesn't take much.
That's right. Now, Cardinal Spirits, for a while, was making honey schnapps out of a mead. And you could taste the mead. It was really good. It wasn't popular enough, so they stopped making it.
I see.
I am so heartbroken I don't have any more of that. Because that was some good stuff.
Most of my family growing up, I was usually handed a jar of something that somebody ran through, probably some type of metal apparatus, and then it was just
Probably
The corn.
The antifreeze, the coolant system in the
radiator.
car, radiator.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Most
Yes,
of the time
those
it's
words.
radiators.
Yeah.
And then usually it was just consisting of like 5 pounds of corn or the corn flour, and then it was like 5 pounds of sugar, and you had some yeast, and then you just kind of hope for the best when you run it through a radiator and don't go
Well,
blind.
think about it this way: most white lightnings, for lack of a better word, is whatever leftover product is at the farm. So
Right.
they take that; it's already beginning to rot anyway. Squeeze what you can out of it, fill it with boil it for a while,
Yeah.
let it ferment for a week or two, and then distill the shit out of it until you've only got like 1 gallon per 500, and you're topping what
Something like that.
180 proof.
That's why I enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I wasn't raised in privilege here, but like, if you had some cornmeal and you had some sugar and then you put some crap in it, and then you distilled it,
Mhm.
I drink it. Sure, that's fine. And then I learned that 180 proof is like right where I'm at, a solid jar and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise, I got to drink like 16 beers to get to that same level.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pee. That's a lot of bloating the next day. When I could just knock myself out with like a jar and a half. That's convenient.
And then if you really need to, you can start a fire with your breath. It's awesome.
I did find on the YouTube the other day they have this new product out now. I don't know if it's new. It's new to my knowledge. I don't know if it's new to the market, but it's called an air still,
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
which is essentially like the air fryer of brewing stills.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a lot of YouTube videos where people were like just basically just fermenting almost everything they possibly could, from Kool-Aid to bananas, and they were just going ahead and running it through these air stills. Now they're only like a gallon or two, and essentially the rule of thumb is for every like 5 gallons of mash, you're gonna have like a gallon of good product, is what they say.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So like, but they're only a gallon or two, which means you're basically gonna get like a pint jar full, and you're gonna sit there like while this thing does it, but it's self-contained, like it's autonomous. You don't have to sit there and babysit it or cool it down or anything like that.
How do they separate the bad from the good then? Because you know how distillation works, right?
Yeah, supposedly it has 2 tanks in it, or something like that, and then it has it's ran with a CPU fan on top for the cooling process, where essentially you'd be collecting the vapor from the top of a still in your
So
mash
that's where
and
my
all that.
graphic card went.
Yeah,
Fuck!
something like that. I mean, you still have you still have heads and you still have your body and your tails, but like I thought that was amazing too, and they're like $200 online. But the thing is, like, do I want to order something that's $200 when essentially I'm only going to get like a pint of something I can drinkable out of it each run, and it's still going to take me like anywhere from 10 to 14 days to ferment it before I throw it in there. So like I'm looking at a decent sized like pint of something every 2 weeks maybe, after spending $200 on this altogether in my mash ingredients or whatever I come across for free.
How long does that actually sit in the machine versus how long does it sit in its primary fermenter?
Usually within a couple hours they would have like a good run.
Okay,
of this
so as
stuff.
long as you've got your primary fermenter going constantly, you could have something every day.
You could. If you alternated your match bashes and actually kept them constant.
So you just need like a 14 5-gallon
Now I'm
barrel.
wondering if I got this thing, would it turn me into an alcoholic? Because a pint a day.
What do you mean turn?
Well, I mean close to it. Like I'm not full blown alcoholism. See, like every couple weeks I go ahead and I tie one on, and I forget to untie it on occasion.
Yeah.
But see, this might turn me into a daily drinker.
Maybe. It could also turn you into a connoisseur. Sorry, this is only 179 proof.
Hey, I learned things about. I made a lot of homemade wine during quarantine too, but essentially it was like prison hooch, where you just get like 100% juice, and then you add a cup of sugar to it, and then you add a teaspoon.
So you didn't try the toilet paper because toilet paper was too expensive.
No, absolutely not.
Right,
I still use the juice container.
You still have the cellulose in the toilet paper, which is what you can ferment and turn into alcohol.
No. I think I found a YouTube video, and it was called Grandpappy's Wine Recipe, and I was like, oh hell no, this is like when you're watching Oz and you've just figured out what they're doing, and like so you just put a cup of sugar in that 100% juice or whatever you get at the store, and then you just put like a teaspoon of yeast, and then you're just kind of like, I'll see you in 2 weeks, and we'll hope for the best. And so that's what I did.
When I first moved out here, our neighbors came up and said, hey, here's this book on how to do stuff, and one of them was how to make wine.
Yeah.
And what it is, you take your jar, you fill it so much with water, you throw your grapes in there, and you seal it up.
Yeah.
And once they've risen and descended 10 times, it's ready to drink.
Like, you would have to be physically present every moment just to see if it's rising.
Oh no, because it takes a while. Like one day it'll be up, the next day it'll be down. So in about a month's time, you'll see it fluctuate. You just can't keep track. Where is it in the morning?
Chart your grapes and the buoyancy of them, so you'd be like,
not even doing that. He's like, okay, it's up this day.
Okay.
It's down this day. So once you have your 10 notches, which is real simple, you drink it. I was looking at this going, it wasn't. You didn't add anything else. You didn't even clean the fruit. So that's where you got your yeast from. You just threw it in there.
Right. Oh my
I
god.
can only imagine what that would taste like. Well, actually, I know what it tastes like because Jordy Minnick would make stuff like that. So.
Well, I've learned that if you're ever gonna do like the supermarket, like 100% grape juice with Grandpappy's YouTube video, which is obviously how prisoners do it. What you got to do is you got to add a little bit of honey and sugar to the end of it, and then you got to let it sit for another week or so, and then finally you pour that off, and you actually have a decent drinkable little wine.
Yeah.
But like the product that they tell you, this is wine, that's diarrhea, is what I learned from that. But I mean, when you're sitting at
So
home,
you were using the prune juice, not the grape juice.
I use the grape juice, but like it gets volatile if you let it sit somewhere dark for a couple weeks and ferment. Like that grape juice gets a little bit more acidic than you're not used to. Like it's your stomach is not prepared for the volatility of that. Nor is your toilet.
So you're saying if you got a colonoscopy coming up?
I mean, that would work.
Okay.
I had one of those when I was 30. I gotta get another one when I'm 40. So like I'm like 4 years out on that bitch. But like I'm a little scared of that one too. Now they gave me the magnesium citrate, and that was it's like got this really acrid taste to it, and a really bitter aftertaste, and it's supposed to taste sweet.
Supposedly they've actually improved the flavor on that.
That was horrible. I remember doing that, and then I remember like having the colonoscopy, and I woke up and I was hungry because you don't eat for 24 hours, and you just flush your system out with laxatives. And my first instinct was to go to the Taco Bell drive-thru, which
So you didn't even have any sort of like thing to buffer it. It was just straight through.
Yeah, it was it.
I can still see the corn chip.
Yeah, and it was the most pain I'd ever been in because like I didn't know during colonoscopy they essentially like air you up so they can like have safe travels with the camera down your esophagus and down your colon, and so they pump you full of this air, so you're already gassy and you're just coming off anesthetic and you're not like aware of this, and then you put your little ass in the Taco Bell drive-thru, whereupon you eat food that already renders you gassy, and it's like death. It was some of the most brutal bowel pain I've ever felt in my life. So when I'm 40, I'm gonna just go ahead and like just have oatmeal after the colonoscopy and just like a
create some blockage first.
Yeah,
some cheese and
slow that shit down a little bit. Yeah. I've learned. Life is a learning process.
Yep. All right. Well, that's our hour. Is there anything else you want to add in there?
If you watch this and you watch for the whole hour, I applaud you because we went on so many tangents. I can see why this is tangents on everything and. What's the other? Nothing. Yeah. That's what that is.
You can't see it because that's cropped. It's a small screen. It's a laptop. It's itty bitty. It was like one of those 3 screens over there. You'd see the whole thing and be all beautiful, and you'd be able to see it says and nothing.
Okay. So I hope you enjoyed all of our tangents on everything and nothing. It was a good time for me. And once again, thank you for having me back a second time.
You'll be coming back, hopefully.
Oh, I'll be coming back. That's what's up.
I'm going to make you.
That's what's up.
That's right.
And if you ever get a chance to come to the Owen County Public Library, this library slaps. I was actually really overwhelmed when walking here. They have legitimate gaming computers, and they're actually rigs with the keyboard and the mouse that has the RGB color changing. They have a 3-monitor setup with webcam, and they're decent webcams too. They're 1080p. So you could run a whole OnlyFans and do a whole Twitch stream up in the library.
Sure
it's that sophisticated. It is that sophisticated. Yeah. I'm really impressed.
Yeah, they put a lot into this. It's going to keep growing. They get this background for doing stuff like this.
Libraries when I was growing up was I got an overdue charge for reading The Hatchet one more time, which I should never have done in the first place.
Well, they've eliminated overdue fees.
That's what's up.
Yep.
This library slaps.
Yep. Thanks for watching, everybody, and back to Live Me.
There we go.
Hey everybody!
And welcome.
Quiet.
We're adjusting.
It's too dark.
Oh, okay, there we are.
So, if anybody remembers, what are we supposed to be doing for our homework today?
Too dark, dark humor.
Dark humor.
Dark
day.
humor.
That's right. And what sort of dark humor are we doing?
We're doing COVID nursery rhymes or poems, depending on what generator we used.
What generator? So I wrote one legitimately, and you used a generator for 2 others.
Yeah.
Jeremiah.
I wrote one legitimately.
He wrote his legitimately. I used the generator.
Who would like to go first?
Since mine is the fake one, because I used the generator, I will go first.
Okay.
And yours is also probably the darkest.
It is.
Segueing into that dark humor.
Just letting you know, thank you, poemgenerator.org, for making it way too real in my randomly generated COVID-19 poem. Here we go. The Trapped and Mad Mask. Whose mask is that? I think I know. Its owner is quite angry, though. He was cross like a dark potato, and I watch him pace. I cry hello. He gives his mask a shake and screams I've made a bad mistake. The only sound's the break of distant waves and birds awake. It's a random line. The mask is trapped, mad and deep, but he has promises to keep. Tormented with nightmares, he never sleeps. Revenge is a promise a man should keep. He rises from his cursed bed with thoughts of violence in his head. A flash of rage, and he sees red. Without a pause, I turned and fled. With thanks to the poet Robert Frost for the underlying structure of the poem.
All right, Jeremiah, go ahead and read yours. Would you like to give us a little background on it first, or are you just going to read it?
I was trying to I had Ring Around the Rosie in the back of my mind. I wanted something catchy, something a little musical, with some alliteration to, hey, this is what you do if this happens. Kind of like the background to Ring Around the Rosie. As I was driving here today, because I did my homework in class, I had a dut rhythm in my head, like a little 3-beat. A, B, C, C, D, E, E, F, G kind of thing. So mine's kind of based in that style. Nerd. In case you didn't hear it. Jam it down the spread. Spread the mask and mask the bug. Bug it all over again. Jam it down the spread. Spread the mask the bug. Bug it all over again. And so on and so on.
I think yours probably is the more legitimately like
Nursery rhyme
sort of
thing. Or,
yeah.
I'm going to go with the one I wrote because we're running out of time. And it's real simple. I basically wanted to use one specific word because I can't pronounce it very well, and I did anyway. No title, but here we go. You act like some harlequin, taking hydroxychloroquine. You are now too weak to take the elevator. Down they throat, they stuck the ventilator. You laugh at their requests and their expertise. But you know best because you have Facebook degrees. No time for goodbye, no one by your side. The only thing they'll know is you died. Thank you. And on that note, we can try to do the others that I generated later in the week or something like that. For those of you who are paying attention, the meme showed up after the end of Ben's interview because they were talking about, I showed something because he had performed at the Hoosier Bar and Grill, and I have a meme from there that's kind of next door, has nothing to do with it, but he made him laugh, so it's good. But we'll be back next week. If you'd like to be on the show, radioactiveshack@timeofyourhalflife.com is right there. Or reach out to us on one of these many ways, which is, email, on one of my many sites, which either be Facebook, or it could be YouTube, or it could be this Twitch channel. Let us know. And
where do we stream at?
Well, I just listed all three of them.
You didn't list Anchor.
That's not streaming.
Where's
That's
your
where the
podcast?
podcast goes on Anchor. That'll be there sometime tomorrow. So what we do basically is we record all this. We make it live so that we can't cheat, maybe, and sort of, but not really. And then the next day it goes on to is just strictly a podcast on Anchor, which gets distributed to Spotify, Google Cast, Chromecast, a whole bunch of other casts, cast this, cast that.
All over again.
And on that note,
John?
hit the button.